Not expected. About 30 seconds to go. All right, good deal. We're being recorded now. For those of y'all that don't know, you can watch this live at home. It's recorded. It's on YouTube. So you'll get to see yourself maybe again later today. So everybody wait the cameras. All right, at this time we have about 10 seconds to go before the 30 moment. And Mark. All right, we're going to call this meeting to order. This regular meeting of Hill County Commissioners Court this Tuesday, January the 11th, 2022. Let the record reflect that there's a quorum of commissioners present established, and this meeting was posted in accordance with Texas Government Code 551, better known as the Open Meetings Act. At this time, this meeting is being recorded and simulcast to the YouTube application online. No one has signed up as of 8 o'clock this morning to speak on that. So before we get started, the first thing I'd like to do is invoke the blessing of the Almighty. Brother Mike, can you please do this?
Heavenly Father, we recognize this morning that righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne. Father, we would ask that today you would guide the proceedings of this court and all of the citizens that it represents. Father, let your grace, let your wisdom, and let your integrity and counsel be that which leads us by your peace in the precious name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. And everyone said,
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to take just a second. Normally I spin right around and do the play, but I want to find out Brother Mike and all he does for us. He's the guy that gets together the group, comes and leads our invocation, and he's got it arranged for a different faith leader in Hill County every week. Every commissioner's court comes in and says something. I want to tell you how much I appreciate that on behalf of the commissioners. You've rodeoed that for years and made sure it happened. We greatly appreciate it, and I hope God richly blesses you in this new year.
thank you, Judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you'll follow me to American and the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to the Texas, one state under God, one indivisible. All right, thank you all for being here this morning. This morning. Let's start off with normal. Commissioner McGovern, what's going on in precinct 1?
Well, I'm hoping everybody's well. COVID's kind of giving yeah, it's coffee the judge made this morning.
Each time spoon up, and I guarantee it.
Everything's going good. We're excited about the new barn and starting to make arrangements to start moving some stuff. And right now we're working on 1248, which is a paved road. It is destroyed because of no ditches, and we're cleaning out the ditches, getting ready to fix that up and run a little short on it. We've got some sick people, but so far it's going good. I'll shut up and let you go.
Commissioner Crump, what's going on precinct 2?
We're trying to upgrade 6-7 road for future projects this summer. We're working on 2302. It was a field road that we ran through court last time. They had made a donation to upgrade that road, and we're starting to work on that. About during the Christmas break, it's a shame that we park county equipment on the side of the road, and I had about 200 to 300 gallons of diesel stolen out of 3 machines. The fuel cap's thrown away, and I got the bill for that this week, and that was about $300 for 2 fuel caps. But it's a shame that we put equipment out there to fix the roads and people steal what we've got out there. Other than that, that's it.
On that happy note, Commissioner precinct 3.
Well, not gonna work about that bad.
Yeah, feel free to share.
We've been cleaning ditches, like I said, last time, taking advantage of dry weather. Been working on a road next to our county barn, our new county barn. Get rock. Talked to the contractor yesterday, we're hoping to have a walkthrough within 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So we're getting closer. I know it's been a long time coming, but
I feel your
we're getting
pain.
closer.
I feel your pain. Commissioner Martin, what's going on?
We're still putting in covers, pretty good today, and we have bought in excess of $200,000 worth of covers we put in place a couple of years, so we're still putting them in. We've got more orders, so.
Yeah, keep that water off those roads. Can't people.
Well, a bunch of them too short to squat with.
I got you.
And they had metal in one end and concrete in the other. It just don't work.
It would be good.
It
It would be good.
And a piece of tin to put them together.
My favorite
They had a
seal.
hole and made a sign over the hole.
Oh, did they use the old rear tire inner tube for seal? Because that's my
Yeah, we
favorite.
had some of that too.
Yeah.
We had a little bit of everything. It was good.
It's quite creative, folks.
Yes.
What's going on in IT?
This week, Judge, it is all about the upgrade to Odyssey Navigator that we're preparing for next week.
Bless you. I know you guys have been preparing for it for a long time, got a lot of hours in it, but I'm
Yes.
glad it's nice.
The new clients installed everywhere. We're going around training people all this week and the first couple of days next week to get ready for next Wednesday.
Sounds great. Thanks, Phil. Tom, what's going on in emergency management?
Judge, we have a lot going on. You know, one of the biggest problems we had this week is the police department, sheriff's department, everybody yesterday got inundated with phone calls because the testing site was down.
The COVID testing lady, got the COVID.
The testing lady got COVID. So anybody that wants a job, they're looking for somebody $20 an hour plus all the overtime you want. So you can join me at the new site tomorrow. And other than that, we just got projects. So I got an email yesterday from the camera people. Hopefully by the end of the week, if Monday or Tuesday at the latest, we can get the cameras at the fair barn so that we can get that live stream set up. So we want to have so many people down there for the camera fair. Working on a radio project, we're just staying busy. There's a lot going on, but it's all good. We're making headway.
Thank you, sir. What's happening with the constables today?
Everything's going pretty smooth.
Man, you better not on some wood, say something like that. That's a whole thing. Good to hear.
Keep bulletproof.
Big bulletproof, yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh,
So
it's
it's not.
How's the sheriff's office this morning?
People hired, we got 4 new deputies hired, 2 new tellers, 1 in transport, 1 in dispatch.
Great,
And we got the monitors put in our 3rd console and dispatch got it up and rolling.
wonderful, wonderful. I'm so glad to hear that, expanding that capability. Thank you so much, Sheriff, appreciate you. Anything from ESD one today?
We need rain.
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
Today's weather been putting it in there and then taking it out before it gets here.
Are you gonna be hitting me up for a burn ban pretty soon?
Nope.
Okay,
We're
What's
good
that?
so far.
what's that?
We're good so far.
The Keats Bryan drought index isn't quite there, but you know it jumps that last 75 pretty quick.
Just want to get some rain maybe this week.
So, what do you think of the ESD two today?
Our building over on Albert Drive is coming along. Hopefully within 45 days, we'll be in that 45 to 60 days. We'll be in the new ambulance facility, and we will be moving our offices into that.
Okay, wonderful.
Administrative offices into that building.
I'm proud of you guys. I'm very grateful you guys getting that going for citizens. Thank you. Anybody else, elected official or appointed officials, got anything they need to share with us this morning? Before I put it in my mouth. All right, I'll give you kind of a rundown where we're at. You see the blue tape on the walls. Let's talk about construction in this building. We did the final walkthrough 2 weeks ago. They've got to come back and do a bunch of touch-up stuff. But we're winding down the last pieces of this project. We continue to pull contractors through Covington Street. That deadline for bids is February 24th. So we've had a lot more interest in it than we've had previously in our other project, which is great. We've had some local people come by and look at bidding it. We hope to receive those bids as well. So we continue to move forward with that. Huron, we're going to talk about that here in a little bit, but we've got a lot of different stuff going on. The Huron community, for those of you new with this, the county has bought an annex to Huron. It's going to be a sub courthouse. We're going to move our precinct barn to that location, the JP, the constable. We will have offices for the sheriff's office out there. Talked to the game warden yesterday. There'll be offices for the game warden and also for DPS in that area. So all that said and done, we're also working with ESD one right now. We're in negotiations to possibly put water storage on site for the west side of the county, 20 to 40,000 gallons of water that we quickly hook up to, shuttle to some places they need. And in addition, possibly putting apparatus over there, what their design may be. So we've got a lot of stuff going on in that project that continues to move forward. We're going to vote there. Remember, everybody, the voting precincts changed. We went down to 13 voting precincts. We will hold early voting in Huron, Texas. Come heck or high water, it will be there. So it may not be the prettiest thing ever by the time we go to vote, but I promise you, we're going to hold early vote there. That'll start the second week of February. So we'll do early vote in Huron, Hillsborough, and Hubbard. We're trying to get out some of those areas traditionally that have a low early vote turnout, give those people the opportunity to vote. Hill County Fair is coming up. A lot going into that. I need your assistance, Commissioner. On that desk in my front office, there is some no parking signs. I need to get you to get some buckets, some concrete, some spare poles we had, and make me some poles I can hang around for no parking. I've got a contractor through your guys' permission to come out and strike the parking lot. I believe that's going to happen this weekend. We've got all the conduit and run the cables from our main server and the exhibits building over to the fairgrounds. It's just a supply chain issue. Our camera guys work as fast as they can to get cameras up. The Hill County Fair comes up in 2 weeks, not next week, but the week after. We're attempting to be ready for that. So we've had our electricians out there going through it. We're in conversations. I've been asked to ask everybody, hey, look at the county website. If you've got a business, you're supporting these kids. They've got some opportunities this year that they haven't in the past about advertising yourself. So check that out with them. That's all I'm saying on that. Otherwise, we continue to move forward there. We'll talk about the grant out there at a later date. It's just going to be busy this time of year. We've got quite a bit going on, but it will slow down hopefully eventually. So at that, I'm going to call it good on what I've got to say. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our announcements and presentations. I believe we have a presentation this morning for folks. If you guys want to, Commissioners, as you know, during the presentation segment is for public information. Discuss and interact. We are here to sit and listen to this presentation. Jim, you have 4.
Judge.
Yes.
After school, we'll stay in the courtroom and they will be here for anybody to ask a question.
And for those of you guys listening at home, it's not just the commissioners here. We've got individuals from several local jurisdictions with us, from fire departments, from Hillsborough Police, from Whitney, from PA, maybe some others in the room. So we're talking about what's going to be presented this morning is one of the first steps, and believe me, there's been a lot going on behind the scenes at this point about upgrading our communication system in Hill County and bringing it into the 21st century, and more importantly, tying it into our neighbors around us so that we have interoperability of communications. With that being said, you got the phone, sir. Fine with me.
Okay. I'm Michael Lockwood. I'm with Daily Wells Communications. I'm one of the account managers there. And with me today is James Reed, who's our Chief Information Officer. We're just going to kind of do a high-level overview of the system that we've been working with. I'm going to give you some information, and so that after we have some specific questions, we're going to go into detail regarding what we've been working on. Happy to stay after and answer questions. So Daily Wells Communications, we're the largest L3 Harris dealer in the country. Been in business 46 years. We're based out of San Antonio, Texas. We have a 50,000 square foot facility there. We'd love to invite you down and see our operation. That's where our headquarters is. We cover about 10 states for the L3 Harris products. There we have a 24/7 staff network operations center where we manage and monitor all of our P25 customers, our systems for public safety, healthcare, transportation, you name it. Some of our major customers for Daily Wells, we've got a lot of public safety customers, obviously, being in P25, Project 25. Here's just kind of a map of overview some of our key customers.
My eyesight's not that great, but I see San Antonio Police Department. Who else you got on there?
San Antonio Police Fire. That's actually a large system. We've had that going now for since 2000, and we've done 2 iterations of upgrades. We're actually about to finish an upgrade for that system. That's a very, very large system, 28 site system.
City of Lubbock on there?
City of Lubbock, we have, City of Midland, we have, Government County Hospital.
Please. I didn't want to touch your equipment there. Without you mentioning that.
City of Conroe Police and Fire, we handle theirs, San Angelo. There we go. So these are some of our major customers, our C25 system, as well as some of our utility customers. We're Daily Wells is proud to say that we manage and maintain the 4 largest utility entities in the state of Texas, being ADP, Encore, LCRA, and CenterPoint Energy. And this is a map of just those 4 customers alone of what we handle for those entities. So we cover 84% of the geographic state of Texas with Harris P25 radio system for those utility customers alone. we're pretty proud of that. And I'll let Jim, you want to walk over this next slide?
One of the things that the center of the system is the data core. So that handles the voice interoperability, data, and access. And one of the key things we have is the ability to integrate your existing assets, your console systems and repeaters and those with some future assets, like P25 phase 2 to give you more coverage and capacity. So we can have existing consoles, existing interoperability, existing repeaters, all tied into the modern system that handles broadband push to talk, that handles P25 phase 2, and can interop with other systems north and south of the 135. So that's the main thrust of technology. It's all based on Dell servers and Cisco network. So very common equipment, easy to upgrade and maintain for the life cycle of the system.
Yeah. So Jim used to work for L3 Harris and David Wells Stoling. He was part of the development of the VS Core, so that's why I tagged him on this slide here.
Next.
Yes, sir. And as he mentioned, so we do have a broadband push to talk over cellular solution. So as this project, it starts, we're working on 2 tower sites. So we can extend coverage beyond what those 2 physical tower sites, those 2 radio tower sites are capable of by using push to talk. And we can do push to talk over cellular, and we can do that over LTE. Built into our radios, actual radios, or an Android or an iOS device. So, for example, and again, I can show you this afterwards. That Android device right there is connected to an LTE via LTE on FirstNet to a P25 system down in the Houston area, and from right here, I can communicate and talk to one of the constables or sheriffs or ambulance or firefighters right here in Houston. Okay. And that's again all part of that package, that platform that we're proposing. One of the things that's kind of unique about L3 Harris versus some of our competitors like to find a product or a company or a solution, partner with them, and then buy it. And then that development is then only steered towards that manufacturer. And then unfortunately, sometimes the prices go up, and then the outside development of that product or service goes down because it's specifically for one particular manufacturer. L3 Harris is great at developing and designing and implementing radio systems. That's all they do. That's all we want to do. But there are some other great companies out there that do other great things. There's recording companies, there's camera companies, there's drone companies. There's command and control, fire accountability systems, you name it. So this called the PI is part of our mission critical alliance. So what we've done is we've partnered with these third-party companies, many of which you may already use, and we allow them to connect into the Harris radio infrastructure and system. And we, as a partner, work with them and develop and produce and enhance that product instead of buying them and only shoving you into a proprietary road at that point. So this is our mission critical alliance, and I can provide a list of all the partners that we work with on that as well. And then this is kind of just a 10,000-foot overview of the discussions that Tom and I have had based on your needs and your desires for a radio system, as well as Jim mentioned, what you already have. We already know that you have some P25 conventional repeaters in VHF frequency band, and we know that you already have some existing telex consoles. And Sheriff mentioned that your third one just went online. So we're able to bring those in, those different components, those different elements, and connect them into the Vita core. And now they are just additional resources on the core. So we're not going to make you come in, forklift, and get rid of all your consoles. We're not going to tell you that no, you can't connect into your tape repeater, you can't connect into this, you can't connect that. We can take those and we can bring them in, and we do that now. And so we can bring that in, and it's all, so the person over here on your P25 radio can talk to the people that will be over on the 800 trunk side. The consoles connect to it, or be on push to talk apps will work on it. And then outside of that, as you mentioned, your partners north and south on the I-35 corridor that may have a different manufacturer system. There's already standards in place regarding how you connect to those outside systems, whether it be a Harris system or a Motorola system or Kenwood or EF Johnson, whoever it may be. So that's just kind of a 10,000-foot overview of the components that are making up what we're proposing for the Hill County system. Next slide. Just a little bit about that connectivity, what all we can connect to it. Again, it's just called ISSI, which is a standard CSSI for consoles. So automatic roaming, it's fully geo-redundant. So the system we're proposing, we'll actually have 2 servers, and they can be in 2 physical separate locations. We've got IT in the room, so they're big on that. So if you have a catastrophic failure at your location where your server is, we'll have a hot failover or redundant one at another location. So I think the rest of the slides kind of get into more detail, and something we want to discuss later on. I can cut it off here. I'm going to cut it off here.
Okay.
If they are going to do that.
So you've got a lot of people in this room who be interested, so hang around after the presentation. If you get interested, I want to talk to you and ask a bunch of questions.
Appreciate it, Justin.
Go ahead.
Thank you all.
So, anything further, Mr. Clark?
I'm sorry.
Anything further?
No, that's all I have at this point.
So, well, this is just like I said, presentation at this time. There's no interaction between the court and individuals doing it, but this is a topic you will be seeing more and more. This is an ideal time for the gentleman to come in. And I appreciate our partners from Hillsborough, from Whitney, and other jurisdictions being here today to start talking about this. We're running on a system that is less than ideal. It seems to work somewhat for our current capacity, but as we continue to grow, it's not going to continue to cover us. Technology is leaps and bounds ahead of where we are. We have a unique opportunity this one time because we do have some funds to help offset these costs to bring ourselves up to date with what the latest in telecommunications are. So this is something I think from a public safety standpoint that's important that we continue to monitor and that we continue to have these conversations and not just converse, but actually take action on something like this. So thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Very well. I appreciate both of you being here today. Hang around afterwards, and everybody's welcome to talk to them. All right, at this time, oh, go ahead. Oh, we did. Yeah. No, we got a list of you. Got it. So at this time, we're going to call for open forum. Is there anybody here in the audience that wishes to address the court on a subject that's not on the agenda today? If you do, please, in orderly fashion, identify yourself. And as we limit your comments to about 3 minutes in duration or so, and as we respect you, please show respect to the court. Anybody for open forum? No? Okay, well, thank you very much for that. We're going to move right into our consent agenda. Today's consent agenda is action on items December 28th, January 11th, December 31st, and action on monthly report for revenue and disbursement is before you in your packet. Email from the treasurer's office as well. If there's no objection,
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
all right, we've got a motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there any further discussion? And we will take off for individual discussion. If not, I'll call the question. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion shall carry unanimously. Okay, that brings us to court order, which is number 1, discuss and or approve employee wage, payroll wage changes. It's going to go through. We have Mr. Justin Olson, who's moving on to greener pastures. Apparently, Mr. Matt Boyle, which we, really appreciated his time with this. Matt's done a great job. He's going into something. He's got a great offer down in Waco, so we appreciate wishing him well. Mr. Andrew Cross is moved on to Dusty Lyons. He is, again, moving to Jailer 1, it looks like, so good for him. Mr. Brian Orban is in the room with us. I thought you retired, dude.
I did.
You retired wrong. I was just pointing out.
It's like a vortex.
You're right. Well, welcome back. I'm glad to have you. All right, we got Ms. Hannah Rose, the new hire patrol deputy, and transfer. Okay, so that's what we've got. Motion. Second. Motion and a second to approve the payroll and wage changes for this date. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Motion shall carry. There we go. All right, so we have official oath and bonds today. So discussing or approved bonds will be number 2. We have before us a bond from Ms. Susan Swilling. I think we ought to approve that one, and that is the bond that we have. So I'll make a motion to approve Susan's bond. Second. Motion and a second to approve Ms. Susan's bond. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Ayes have it, the noes know it. Number 3, discussion and approve appoint members to ESD 1 and ESD number 2. Ken, who's all up this time? Because we've got some people that are going to tender the resignation.
And.
What's that?
Clarence, Charles.
Charles Bryant. Yes. And who else? You got the open position.
We appointed Greg Brown early and he took and filled in for Clarence Johnson.
And I think, so he filled in Clarence's unexpired term, so we've got to reappoint Greg Brown and Charles Bryant to ESD #1.
And we'll have it if we're going to.
Will was appointed last time, you were appointed last time, and Mr., I'm so sorry, Hefner, I'm sorry, Bill, I could think you first and I couldn't think you last time. Bill Hefner appointed last time, so that's the 5 members that board. So this time would be Charles Bryant and Mr. Brown. And then for ESD #2.
Kevin Bragg and Jimmy Lehman are up for reappointment.
Okay,
Alan Nisbet, we're recommending him to fill the seat vacated by Dan Giles. He's out with COVID today, so he couldn't be
I
here.
completely understand. I hope he gets better soon. So, Jim, we've heard the recommendations for appointments to the boards. Is there any discussion about it? I have no other name, quite frankly. No one else has approached me about getting on one of those boards, so those are the reappointments. What's that?
Do we have a speech?
You don't have to make a speech?
I'll make a motion if nobody else is gonna raise their hand.
All right.
Second.
Motion second. Those are the board members aforementioned that were appointed to ESD #1 and ESD #2. Any further discussion at all? Nothing? Nothing? Nothing. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it, the noes know it, so it passes unanimously. Thank you very much for your service to the board, ladies and gentlemen. I do appreciate it. I know it can be quite thankless work, but it's very important work for the county. I'm glad to see some of the things that both of your boards are doing, moving the county forward, preparing us for the future and the growth that we're seeing. It is appreciated. Number 4, discuss and approve, put my glasses on, it's easy to read these things, to accept the vehicle trade-in offer of the Hill County Sheriff's Office. I believe that we had a briefing on this last time, and it's back before us. And that's to enter a lease purchase agreement with American National Leasing. In the process, they want to trade in 2 Caldwell Chevrolet, amount of $16,000, 2 2017 Chevrolet Tahoe PPVs, unit 185 and unit 187, that both have over 150,000 miles.
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion and a second to approve trade-in of the vehicle.
They just changed the language.
Pretty much. So, anything further? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carried. Number 5 is grant applications, discuss under action on duplication benefits policy. What we have, gentlemen, and ladies, we're doing a lot of paperwork trying to get hold of this TDHC CBDG grant for the fairgrounds down here, try to expand that. You know, well, we've used it in every emergency situation since we obtained it in 12. Everything from the West explosion to Housing Texas Task Force 1 to doing food distribution to vaccine testing, vaccine administration to testing. And it's just smaller than what we need. So this particular grant is geared towards what we're doing. Again, you will see other items on today's agenda. I will keep bringing this to you. There's no guarantee I'm going to get the grant. I'm just going through the motions, doing the paperwork to apply. So what we have is a duplication of benefits policy. And basically, if you want to break this down in its most simple language, it says, if I get funds from this federal source, I will not then turn around and apply to this federal source and use the same monies for the same project. That's the duplication of benefits policy there. That's what it means. You have it before you in your packet. If you've got questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion for it.
Second. I have a motion and a second to approve the duplication of benefits policy. Any further discussion? If none, all in favor say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed? Nobody's opposed. Motion's going to carry. That moves us to number 6, which is discuss and approve Hill County's feral hog policy. As you know, we started a feral hog abatement program some number of years ago. Due to the lack of grant funds, we had to move our pay from $7.50 down to $5. Our financial situation is a little better than it was. What we're seeing is participation continues to fall in this program, and we're trying to find ways to get people to participate. Because the more feral hogs they take, the less damage they do to vehicles on highways, the less damage they do to fields and farmers' fields. So we've gone back and looked. Zach Davis has come up with a new set of guidelines for this thing and some different ideas. What we are looking at is modeling it after some successful programs around us with a few slight changes to ours. Zach can't be with us today. He's at the Blacklands Income Growth Conference. He's presenting down there. So what we're looking at is currently we pay $5. I would like to match that at $10. That's what our neighbor to the west in Bosque County is doing. It's $10 bounty per tail. Previously, we had multiple turn-in sites. We want to get away from that. I think that puts a financial burden on some of our folks trying to figure out how to do their books. So what we're anticipating is 1 day a month. Zach is saying that he will meet people, set up a day a month. He will meet folks in the parking lot of the Hill County Fairgrounds. And on that day, he will take the tails and then take a ledger, present that ledger to the treasurer for payment. And upon the next commissioners court meeting, we will cut checks to those folks. So that's what's we're looking at. The first drop off in this program would be the third Friday of the month from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. The first drop off will be March 18th this year. Again, all payments are subject to availability of funds. The Feral Hog Committee may verify information for participant registration forms. Again, to participate in this program, you have to go through a series of educational steps to even participate. We're looking at the bounty report, and you're looking at 2014, you took out 569. That next year, 15, you took out 1,553. Our high water mark in this program is year 2017. That was 2,047 animals we took off. Take that, this is a program that cost us about $10,000 to $15,000 a year. And in retrospect, when we're paying 26 to the federal trapper, 26,000 a year in the federal trapper, they're taking 300 animals a year. So there's people in Hill County doing for Hill County. However, participation has fallen off. In 18, it fell off some, then we lost some of that grant funding. We went down to $5 in 19. So what we're proposing is to change up the pay because it's not additional amount that's going to hurt us. Go from 5 to 10, match our neighbors to the west. And number two, change up the drop-off site from multiple locations to a single location. Then I've attached to this Bosque County's Feral Hog Abatement Program form. They've got a pretty nice form that, as I believe in the case method, the copy and steal everything. We'll probably do that, put our name on it. Then you'll see another part of the packet will be a W-9, which is a request for taxpayer identification number and certification for our record keeping. And then that is what we're looking at today. Questions?
Where's the money coming from?
The budget, we budgeted approximately 10,000 feral hog abatement, another 2,500 for the stipend for Zach to operate the program. And then traditionally, we about every other year so far been getting some kind of grant from the Texas Department of Agriculture. Those grants range from 10,000 to 30,000. Even if we put an additional 5,000 into this, I don't see it being detrimental to us. The numbers I read off to you. I mean, look, $10 a tail at 800 tails. That's not great. I think that we need to up our contribution. These folks are out there doing this, and even at $10 a tail, they're not really getting anything for it. It's just corn money. I call it corn money. How about that? It's not offsetting their time and trouble. But these are people that are going out and taking rid of a nuisance that's harming everybody. It's having real economic impact on the county.
I'll make a motion.
So, okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the revised Hill County Bucks for Bacon Bounty Program for our feral hog reduction program. That was Zach. Yeah, Zach and Bucks for Bacon. I can't take any credit. I'm pretty fun. So, yeah. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there anything further? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Motion carries. Number 7 is discuss and approve an agreement for reimbursement for mental health counseling services. This is a yearly agreement we put in place with Texas Council of Government. Hill County will receive $2,767.77 for reimbursement of mental health counseling services done during fiscal year 2002, which will be from October 1st of last year to August 31st of this year. And I have behind it the language, which I have no problems with. It just basically changed the date of previous years. So I would recommend approval of the board for the reimbursement. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye.
Yeah.
Aye. All opposed. Any abstentions? Hearing no abstentions, motion carried unanimously. Next, discuss and approve grant application for Hill County Juvenile Resource Officer Case Management Truancy Prevention. We have with the State Chief, Tina Lincoln, the Chief of Juvenile Probation. Gentlemen, knows each year we apply for these grants.
Thank you. Well, good morning, and thank you guys for letting me come in and present this grant application to you again this year. Just want to highlight a few things about our truancy prevention program. Last year, we served 381 students in the entire county, which is very significant. I know with COVID-19, when we sent all of our children home, we know how vital it is and how important it is that we keep children in school, keep them in the seats.
You served 381 students.
Yes.
I want to put that in perspective. Commish, there's 362 students in the whole Lake Forest School District. Yeah.
And it is a significant increase from years prior. And what we have found is the school district continues to rely on us very heavily to ensure that the students are in school. What we do, for those of you that don't know, is once a student misses 3 days of unexcused absences, then Officer Wilkinson is actually making direct contact with him or her and then the parent or guardian. And so it's a very intrusive program, but it's designed to be preventative in nature and intervene. What we find a lot of times, and Mr. Holmes can talk about it as well, is a lot of those kids may be experiencing bullying, different kind of situations with schooling. Maybe they have absences due to family members that have passed from COVID. We actually have experienced quite a bit of that, unfortunately, this past year. And so we end up becoming another resource, and then we're also referring all of those students that need those services to mental health services that are allowed in our community. And so again, it continues to grow. It expands and gets bigger each year, but it is vital to Hill County. It's vital to our schools, but most importantly, it's vital to our students to ensure that they're in the seats. We have a 91% success rate, which means when Officer Wilkinson goes out and meets with those students, we don't see them again during that school year, which is pretty impressive. Last year, I think we had approximately 32 that actually were filed on and taken before truancy court. And even when they appear before truancy court, it's not with the efforts of trying to make it a punitive situation. A lot of times that goes back to counseling services as well. So I'll entertain any questions, but just asking that the grant application be approved for submission.
Make a motion for it.
Second motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Hawkins, to approve the grant applications. Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions? The ayes have it, noes no. Chief, while you're up there, let's talk about a residential, non-residential, and interagency contract agreement.
Well, it's kind of ironic that all the law enforcement agencies are here this morning, and I'm really glad that they're here because we've experienced a really difficult time attempting to get detention beds for our clients in Hill County. And of course, from a law enforcement perspective, I know it's frustrating when you are out working with the juveniles that you know probably need to be detained. You call us, and then of course, we're on the phone for several hours attempting to locate a detention bed, which has been at some points near impossible. We had a recent situation that literally there was no facility in the state of Texas that would take this one juvenile that was pending commitment to TJJD. And so it literally took every amount of effort from the state all the way down locally for support for that. So we are just expanding our contract beds. This is actually including Lubbock County as well and Taylor County. So we just want to make sure that if you as law enforcement contact us, that we do our due diligence, and if we need to find a bed for a juvenile that needs to be detained, that we have that opportunity.
Okay, good. Either one of these facilities, the juvenile board going to visit this year?
Whichever ones you guys want to, once the COVID numbers.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan last year. I'm on juvenile board, obviously. We like to visit one of these facilities a year, check out where these kids are going. I know these kids are offenders, but they're still children. We have a duty to them. We have a duty to ensure that we're sending these kids, there's going to be a rehabilitation effort, not just a punitive effort. So yeah, if we can get to either one of these facilities, either in Lubbock, I'd rather prefer Taylor, to be frank with you.
Absolutely.
All right, those are the residential, non-residential contracts and interagency agreements that are before us today. Any questions, any of those gentlemen? Motion for Commissioner Hawkins, second for Commissioner Lake to approve the aforementioned contracts in Lubbock County and Taylor County. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Any abstentions? Nobody, none, motion carried. Number 10, discuss, thank you very much, Chief, appreciate it. Observe and report monthly reports from fee offices. You have in your packet the monthly report from non-fee offices. Tax office took in about $1,394,000 this month. You look at the second page is what I always like to look at. It's not Norfolk's tax office. They take care of this too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 new OSSF permits in November. So this report's about a month behind. That's 16. That's the lowest number we've seen in some time. 20. That just tells you an indicator of growth that we have in the county. The county doesn't have a population to legally issue building permits, so we have to go upon those things that we can't find. And usually when you're putting in a septic tank, you're putting in some kind of residence out there. So just let everybody know we continue to grow at a pretty fast pace out in the county. Then you look through the rest of this, and it's just received by general fund and fee code. If you get a chance to review that, I'll entertain the motion.
Second.
Motion and second to report monthly reports from the offices. You get a copy of that? Okay, good deal. All right, in which case I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Number 11 is urban report, Hill County CPS Board Treasurer's Report for December of 2021. Fine folks at the Hill County CPS Board, Child Protective Services Board, Child Welfare Board are telling us they have current total assets of $63,436.92, which is incredible for that little group. They've taken in donations, and I'm sure that's not my problem at the moment. They've taken in donations in the amount of $750 this last month. So they're doing pretty well. They did have expenditures on some Christmas gifts, on postage and mailing and printing and copying. So their total operational expense was $346. So that means their total expense is on $2,450. Remember that was Christmas, so they're higher than much time of year.
Make a motion approved.
We have a motion to the second to observe and record the Hill County CPS Treasurer's Report for the month ending December 2021. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Tina, you gonna get rid of one of your fine vehicles?
Actually, do you want me to come up or is it if I'm?
No, we're good to go. We got motion to discuss an action selling surplus salvage vehicle for Hill County Juvenile Probation Department. What kind of cherry vehicle do you want to public have?
So we are asking to get off of the Sheriff's Department's parking lot a 2001 Crown Victoria that we have not used in some time. And we're just collaborating with them, trying to do all of that together at the same time.
It's got most of the parts on still, right?
Yes, and then we also have a 2005.
Vehicles that have a tendency to get repurposed.
Yes, 2005 Ford Mercury that we have just, every time we end up driving it, it ends up in the shop. So we just need to remove those from their property. They do the courtesy of letting us have our vehicles over there. So we will be down to 3 transport units and 1 community service vehicle.
Is that sufficient at the moment?
At the moment, yes, but we will definitely be looking to purchase another vehicle in the very near future.
Okay, good deal. So, all right, what we have before us then is a request to declare a 2005 Ford Taurus and a 2001 Ford Crown Vic as surplus. That Vic probably really salvaged, but we're gonna call it surplus. So, is there any discussion?
I bet it still runs.
You know, I'm not gonna put money against the Crown Vics. They're pretty hard to get. But we got all the good out of that one. So.
I'm making a motion.
Motion, Commissioner Montgomery, second by Commissioner Hawkins. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. And now let's sell these surplus vehicles. How do you want to sell them? Online auction? Oh, it's on you, Ryan.
Whatever I need to do, I will do it.
You want to sell it online launch?
I'll probably work with Mr. Moschlaw, because I think he's got some that he's got coming up as well. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna sell it back. Well, I'll make a motion and we allow the Juvenile Probation Department in Hill County to sell the aforementioned surplus vehicles in an online auction format. Yes, ma'am. Ms.
I
Sewell?
think the sheriff office gonna go through the lump store.
See, I don't know that for sure, so I'm just making it broad so they can use any online auction they choose to use. So, yeah, wonderful. That's my motion.
Second.
Motion and a second to sell the aforementioned surplus vehicles for the Hill County Juvenile Probation Department in an online electronic auction. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. Number 14, discussion and approve a minor plant, surprise, for the River Bend subdivision. This is it. It's a minor plant. Yeah, there you go. So this. believe this is the correct one. I'm looking on it.
Some of your-
No, it's a minor plat. It's Riverbend Ranch. Total number of lots is 1. Total acreage is 4.533. It's in the Robert Urban Survey. It's Brian McClure and Elizabeth McClure are the owners. They live in Austin.
They just pulling a piece of property off.
It appears that to be the case. So we have for project name that we have all of our checklists. It's gone through our county surveyor. I can let you know that guy is worth his weight in gold nowadays. With being a stamped engineer and licensed surveyor, Jesse Jones brings a lot to the table for us, and he's really doing a bang up job on these things. We really appreciate him and compensate him accordingly. Anyway, so that's the Riverbend subdivision that's been brought to us. The development committee has said, hey, we bless this, so it's here for your guys' approval of minor plat.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second to approve a minor plat for Riverbend subdivision. Any further discussion, questions about this one? No questions. No, sir, no, bro. It's just, it is the weirdest thing. It is a long, narrow piece of property. This thing is 178 foot wide and it's 1,099 feet long. But it goes from County Road, well, it's a private road, 213, all the way back to the river. So it's just a long, narrow strip in the river. So 11. So I call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed. Any abstention, motion carried. Yeah, gentlemen, there's actually 2 copies here, and I know this is unwieldy. I apologize. But
We need a special pen.
especially when we handle it. While we're signing that, move on number 15, which is consider an act on citizen participation plan for CDBG grants. Again, this is what the paperwork we're doing for this fairgrounds grant. And what it basically goes through is the compliant procedures that we have to adopt for the requirements of the Texas Department of Housing, Community Affairs, Community Block Development Grant. And it's one of the formal complaint and grievance procedures regarding the services provided under this grant. A person who has a complaint may present it A, to me, B, to the CDBG. A copy of the complaint is should be transmitted to myself and to the city or county attorney within 5 working days after the complaint is received. So if I get a complaint, I've got 5 days to send it to my attorney. If the investigation, the county judge shall complete an investigation into the complete grievance within 10 days if practical. If it can't be completed in 10 working days, the person who made shall be notified in writing in 15 days if practical. So basically it goes through the whole procedure of what happens if somebody has a complaint about handling this correctly. And we need to adopt this procedure. And I have the second part of it in Spanish. So it's not in English. We're actually extra points in the application. So it would be my recommendation to county commissioners that we act and approve the social participation plan under the Texas Department of Housing. Thank you. Motion in a second on number 15. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, motion carries. All right, let's go on to number 16. Discussion action on county property Huron to include approving application for water and electrical service. So first, let's kind of get an update on where we're at Huron. We're moving quick. We picked the property up the first week of January. It needs work. We bought 19,000 square feet, 7.25 acres. It's got a lot of fussing to it. It's got a lot of needs work. So we are moving quickly. We are going to vote there on the second week of February. I don't care. Ice storm, no ice storm, we're voting there, folks. Now, you might have porta potties out front, and I'm serious about that. We're voting there. Make the annual word, we're going to do it. So what we're doing right now is demolition work and then the outside building work. We are sealing up, it's a metal building. We're having crews on the roof go through, look for any of those loose neoprene washers under the screws, fixing those things, going inside, demolition, some, let's just say less than ideally built walls that are in there. We're prepping the building for the electrical work and then the spray foam insulation is going to go in the front part. You have before you a layout that Judge DeTon was good enough to put together for us. There's 2 in here. One is dimensions, one's labeled. What we envision is having a judge's office, a storage area in there, and then a secretary's office for JP1, of course, the courtroom. We'll have restrooms that are ADA compliant, a break room for the employees working in there. We'll have a room for IT. Philip, where you looking? Yeah. Oh, there you are. Sorry about that, Philip. We will have an event room. That event room can double as anything from a training center to a community meeting room, you name it. We want to have the ability to hold county business on that side of the county should we need to, and inform people what we've got going on. We'll have offices for Constable 1, recording storage. We'll have offices for the Hill County Sheriff's Department, the Texas DPS, and for the game warden. We've met a new game warden here yesterday, Miss Officer Scarborough, well, hometown girl actually. So looking forward to working with Officer Scarborough. And then we have expansion for the tax office at a future date should they want to offer services up there. So this is moving rather quickly. Again, I'm asking you guys for some permissions that we previously talked about and things. One is I want you to ratify, I made an application to Invoke, turn the meter on, or get the meter switched on. Number two, I need to make an application to Woodrow OCL water supply to get a meter set there. There's currently a well. I'm just going to be frank with you. I'm suspect of that well for drinking purposes. I think for non-potable purposes, it's probably just fine. But for drinking purposes, I don't think that's the water we should treat employees. So that's the second thing I need. The third thing is we're buying materials over there to get this project moving. I have a dumpster. I need to get a dumpster over there from Republic Waste, which again, I need your ratification of an action to get a dumpster, roll-off dumpster on that site. And then last but not least, I need your input on this layout. Do you guys like the layout? And if not, I need to know quickly because we are moving on to demolition right now. The next step will be framing this, and then the electrician, bring in the electricians, bring in the HVAC people who we're talking to currently. Commissioner Lake is in conversations with the folks to do the septic out there. We need to talk to you about electrical to your building, your yard, part of the yard can be, so that'll be conversations to get with an electrician or Hilco. Just a lot is moving very, very quickly. I want to keep everybody apprised of what we're going on because we do have rules that we have to follow under Texas Local Government Code on how we do things, and I'm doing my best to move fast but still stay compliant with those rules. So questions?
I like it. I say we do.
Okay.
You're not gonna get a better, really, that's about the only option you have.
Yeah, trade your time, judge and architect extraordinaire.
Yes, sir. I'll make a motion.
Second. All right, we have a motion second. Matt, clarify your motion. The motion is to ratify the county judge to apply for electricity, apply for water with Woodrow Osceola. And that electricity application may include a second meter for your farm base. I am asking for the authority to put trash service from the public waste, return trash out there. I am asking for approval of this layout for the building. And what else, guys? What am I forgetting?
What is
Sewage in this.
We haven't discussed that yet. I need to get with him and discuss how that's going to operate. So
I need to find somebody that can do it, put it in bid to do it.
we're talking with the contractor now because we are a government entity. We're having a party design it for us. We'll get in touch with that party and have them include your section of it. We have the authorities to do that. I don't take liberties here. You guys are happy with the way I'm doing things. Great, but I got a lot going on. I haven't passed the job to anybody else that wants it. Yes, ma'am. You got it. You want it? You got it. No problem.
I guess just non-departmental capital outlay for now. or-
Non-departmental capital outlay for now. I will probably put it in the special fund for the ARPA funds after April 22nd, as the final rule that came out last Friday states that any amount under 10 million, we can simply write off as lost revenue. We no longer have to jump to the warehouse where ours connected back to COVID. That means that money will be available for this project amongst other capital projects. But yes, for right now, non-departmental capital outlay.
We talked previously about talking to textile about traffic control at that location.
Not yet, but we'll get on that.
I mentioned to them about putting a sign out there saying trucks are on the roadway, and they said, don't put any signs on our right of way.
Okay, I'll go talk to the engineer. So thank you. Do we need to talk about putting an access off that county road into our property?
I'm gonna talk to the people that are, it's a private drive that runs beside it,
Okay, I thought it was Liberty County Road.
not the one that runs beside it.
Okay.
think so.
I'm gonna talk to them and see if we can go out with our commercial vehicles. On the back side of the building, east side of the building, onto that private driveway, and then out onto the road.
Oh, on the east side, not on the north side.
Well, Yes,
Yeah.
the road's on the north
So
side.
it says no road goes north of that building there.
That's private drive.
Okay. Good, man. I was under the impression it was on the road. All right, what's we've got, what else do we need to take care of at Huron right now?
We probably want to do like a license agreement.
Yeah, some type of, yeah, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because we'll tear
Uh,
Yeah.
What else here on is, I mean, I'm gonna bring this back before you guys, I can see having a special meeting next week, if something else comes up on it, just want to give you that heads up, that's a possibility. Again, we're moving fast, I need to have an insulated, heated, cooled shell of a building that we can vote in. I'm not saying we're gonna have to finish with all this layout, but we know what we're shooting for, and we will have it safe for the public, comfortable for the public to vote in, starting the second week. Yeah, beginning of the third week of February. So you got the motion, it's on tape, I'm not gonna repeat it, any other questions?
Judge, are we planning to use next link for internet out there? You got it?
I have no clue at this point, I believe we are.
Yes.
We are.
Yes.
All right, if we need an agreement, I'll bring that back to court to do that agreement, so.
I think their deal's right across the road.
Yeah. And I'll just give you an update on this before I call for the vote. On Woodrow Osceola, they are on the opposite side of the road. They're gonna have to road or under the road to get to us. They do have service to the folks in front of us, but it's just a tap, a meter tap off the main line. So they're gonna have to road or under, and I'm gonna ask them that, should they do so, to put that meter on the north side of the driveway. Because the water inlet currently is on the north side of the building, and that way we don't have to tear any of that concrete out there.
They have water on, they just crossed our county road across from the barn. They just crossed that.
Yeah, they get that pipeline out there. It's easy. They said they can do it, it's just a matter of getting
I'm
on.
with the rock.
All right, then, I'll call the question. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion, any abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you very much. All right, number 17, discuss under action, accept resolution to accept grant funds for the Hill County Sheriff's Department. How much and what?
So previously we've gotten through the office of governor a grant to upgrade our in-car video system, but additionally add body worn cameras. We got 93,000, I think, on that one, and we're going to do that. So this is, we basically reapplied for that same grant again. We asked for 83,000, that would have been about 16 and a half for equipment for our new Tahoes and body cameras for as well. And then the remainder would have been about 83,000 for, the rest of that would have been for storage. We were only approved for the 16,599. They require as part of the grant that commissioner's approval, and then the wording in the grant or in the order, that's the underlying portion of that order is the wording that they require. Now, it does say that we have to match funds, but there is no matching funds at this particular grant under this this program. So we're being awarded 16,599 if you guys approve it, and that will cover our new Tahoes coming in as well as body worn cameras to add to those.
I make a motion, we accept 16,299 grant funds to the County Sheriff's Department for the purposes of body worn cameras and outfitting in-car cameras.
299.
That sounds good. 299 or 599?
299.
It is 16,599.
599, forgive me, I'll amend my motion to correct. 65. I don't just say all the money you can get out of it, all that.
No, actually, that's good.
All right, I got a motion, a second from Commissioner Hawkins, anything further? If not, I'll call the question, all in favor, say aye. Aye, all opposed, any abstentions, motion carries. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure having this many people in court, and I'm not kidding. It's just, it gets old being in here by yourself all these years, so thank y'all for showing up. What we're gonna do at this time is we're gonna convene into executive session. I mean, we're gonna clear the courtroom. We got some discussions on economic development with our council that we need to talk about. And then after that discussion is over, we will reconvene for action on any items and necessary measures that come out of that meeting. So what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna take about a 5 to 10 minute recess while we clear the courtroom. You're welcome to hang out afterwards. We'll be here for questions, but we do need to get through the courtroom, clear, turn the microphones off and stop the recording at this time. All right.